When ancient Egyptians thought of death, the first face they expected to see in the afterlife was that of Anubis. But who was Anubis? How did he become the god of the underworld? And why did he have the head of a jackal? In this video, we're going to explore the ancient tale of the Egyptian god of death. Welcome to the mysteries of mythology, Anubis. The story of Anubis's birth is filled with infidelity, fear, abandonment, and the maternal love of a goddess. The mother of Anubis was Nephthys, the goddess of mourning, the night, childbirth, the dead, protection, magic, health, embalming, and beer. Nephthys had a deep, dark secret. She was attracted to her sister's husband, Osiris, the god of fertility and agriculture. To make matters worse, her husband was Set, the god of storms, disorder, and violence. Since their birth, Osiris and Set always had an ongoing rivalry. Later in their tales, Set would tear Osiris into 14 pieces, scattering them to the far ends of Egypt. But we'll come to that a little later. Nephthys was the twin of her sister Isis, the wife of Osiris. One night, disguised as her sister, she seduced Osiris. So it was no surprise that after spending the night with the god of fertility, she soon found herself with child. Shortly after, Anubis was born. Knowing that if her husband ever found out about the illegitimate son, especially that it was with his rival brother, both she and the child would face a fate worse than death. In fear of her husband's vengeance and wrath, Nephthys abandoned the newborn Anubis. But this wasn't the end of Anubis's journey. It was this abandonment that was a key turning point in his journey. Some accounts say it was the whispered cries of her sister in the wind or the guidance of the moon. But one day, as she walked across the Nile Delta, Isis discovered the young Anubis. As the goddess of love, magic, and motherhood, she took pity on the child. Despite realizing what her sister had done, she treated the young jackal-faced boy as her own. The kindness of his mother was to be repaid. The first time was in a key moment in Egyptian mythology, in the battle between his father, Osiris, and his brother, Set. Osiris had become the king of Egypt, a prosperous time for the land, but with each success of his brother, Set became more envious of his brother's accomplishments. In the climax to the rivalry between brothers, Set killed Osiris and tore his brother into 14 pieces, scattering them across Egypt so that he could never be found. Isis, in her relentless quest, gathered the scattered parts of Osiris. With the aid of her sister Nephthys and Thoth, the god of wisdom, she embarked on a mission to resurrect her husband. It was during this process that Anubis, her stepson, played a crucial role. He skillfully used linen strips and embalming spells, which were essential in preserving Osiris's body. This preservation was a vital step that enabled Isis to eventually bring Osiris back to life. Until this time, Anubis had been the god of the underworld, presiding over its administration. His father, now revived, was no longer able to rule the living, so became the new ruler of the underworld, with Anubis taking his side, now taking on other duties as the god of funerary rites, protector of graves, and guide to the underworld. He also took on the key role of presiding over the Hall of Truth, where the hearts of the deceased are weighed against the feather of Ma'at. But before we discuss that, hearing of the resurrection of his brother and his new role as the king of the underworld, Set sought to find a way to disrupt his brother, even in the afterlife. But even gods were not able to easily pass from the land of the living to the land of the dead, with the exception of Anubis. Seeking to undermine his brother even in the afterlife, Set devised a plan. In the ancient Egyptian belief, a body needed to remain intact for a peaceful afterlife. Therefore, Set intended to once again mutilate Osiris's body. Transforming himself into a leopard, known for its stealth and ferocity, he stealthily made his way to the vault where his brother's sarcophagus was kept. But Anubis stood guard, and as Set approached, Anubis struck his leopard skin with a fiery brand, leaving the animal's skin permanently marked. This encounter not only explains the leopard's spots, but also symbolizes why priests during mummification rituals donned leopard skins, a tribute to Anubis's victory over Set. But Anubis wasn't done with Set. With the help of Thoth, the god of wisdom, they cast spells to trap Set. Anubis tore the leopard skin from Set's body and wore it as a warning to those who dared to desecrate graves. Anubis's new role extended to guiding the souls of the deceased through the perilous journey to the Duat, the afterworld. This journey was fraught with challenges and trials, including navigating treacherous landscapes, confronting fearsome creatures, and facing tests set by powerful deities, guarding the gates of the underworld. Anubis, with his intimate knowledge of the underworld's complexities, helped to lead the souls through these daunting obstacles. For the souls that passed these trials, they would finally reach the Hall of Truth, the final and most important stage of the soul's journey. Anubis ushered the souls into the presence of Osiris, now the Lord of the underworld. The deceased stood before a panel of 42 divine judges, proclaiming their innocence of any wrongdoing in life, a declaration known as the negative confession. The heart of the deceased, representing their actions and intentions in life, was placed on one side of a scale. On the other side was the feather of Ma'at, the embodiment of truth and cosmic order. If the heart balanced with the feather, the soul was deemed pure and worthy of eternal bliss in Aru, the field of reeds, a realm of eternal contentment. But if the heart was heavier, laden with the weight of sins and wrongdoing, it was devoured by Amit, the devourer of souls, annihilating the soul from existence. As cultures interacted over centuries, the figure of Anubis evolved, particularly in the context of Greek and Roman mythology. This fusion gave rise to Hermanubis, a composite deity blending attributes of Anubis and the Greek god Hermes. Hermes, known as a messenger god and a guide to the underworld in Greek mythology, shared similar responsibilities with Anubis as a psychopomp guiding souls to the afterlife. Today, Anubis's legacy extends into popular culture. From literature to video games and movies, his enigmatic persona captivates the imagination, often embodying mystery and the supernatural. Yet these portrayals sometimes skew his true nature, painting him as a figure of darkness rather than a balanced deity of death and protection. Anubis is often portrayed with the head of a jackal, and there's a significant reason behind this. The ancient Egyptians observed that jackals, animals that thrived in the desert, often lurked near graves. They believed that by depicting Anubis with a jackal's head, he would be connected to the protection of graves and the dead, echoing the natural behavior of these animals. The color of Anubis's skin carries significant symbolism. Anubis is often depicted with black skin, a color that symbolizes rebirth and regeneration, akin to the fertile dark silt of the Nile River's earth. In the story of Anubis, we find lessons about life, death, and the enduring power of myth. What insights have you gained? Share your thoughts and join the conversation below. There are more myths and more legends. Join me as we explore the mysteries of mythology.